We got our hands on video from a Miami traffic camera which showed the moment an intersection went from relatively calm to complete chaos. Florida prosecutors say it just took fractions of a second for Instagram model Macy Lathers to ruin multiple lives, including her own. And it's her actions before she got behind the wheel of the car and after the deadly crash that have her in a lot of trouble. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law&Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. In the early morning hours of Saturday, August 10th, 2024, around sunrise, traffic in Miami was light. Some drivers were on their way to work, and that included Abraham Molina and Jesus Rubio. The men were carpooling along with Molina's partner when they entered the intersection at Northeast 8th Street and North Miami Avenue. Now, 8th has traffic traveling both ways, but North Miami is a one-way street. Now, as the silver Suzuki drove into the intersection, a black Range Rover traveling the other direction crossed paths with it right where the roads met. And at that exact moment, police say 24-year-old Macy Lathers, with her foot mashed all the way down on the accelerator, blasted through the red light on North Miami Avenue and collided with the other cars. Toxicology reports would later show she had several different drugs in her system, including 2C. This is sometimes referred to as pink cocaine. Now, the aftermath was brutal. Molina, Rubio, they were both killed. Molina's partner and the driver of the Range Rover, they were rushed to hospitals. They're expected to recover. But you have this nearby traffic camera that caught the crash, apparently. And it also apparently caught Lathers appearing to allegedly sneak away from the scene. Now, we're going to get more into her wild arrests, where her case stands now. But first, we got to talk about this latest new video evidence, crucial new video evidence. And for that, I want to bring in criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Melba Pearson. Melba, thank you so much for coming here on Sidebar. You know, I think sometimes we forget that we're driving around in 5,000-pound machines that on the one hand, they're equipped to protect us as best as they can, but on the other, they can cause catastrophic damage to other vehicles and human lives in a second. This is one of those cases that I think, unfortunately, reminds you of that.
Yes, absolutely. And hello, Jesse. Always great to be on with you. And this is one of those tragic situations where a lot of times we take driving for granted. We just kind of hop behind the wheel, we go, and we just don't always think as carefully about safety and all these other aspects. And unfortunately, I think, folks can point to times where maybe they had one or two drinks, probably shouldn't have driven, that sort of thing. But what we're looking at here is way beyond that. We're looking at a situation where somebody was so inebriated. I mean, by the time, and I know we're going to get into that later on, but by the time she was arrested, she's vomiting. I mean, she's, topless. She's completely out of her mind. And that's somebody who should have called an Uber. Plain and simple. Like, there's no excuse for that.
And even though we have the ability of ride-sharing apps or other forms of transportation, you probably see day in and day out more instances of alleged drunk driving or driving while intoxicated or driving while on a substance. It happens, every day? And it's hard to fathom that this can still happen.
Absolutely. And again, we all can get the concept of the night didn't go as you planned, right? You thought you were just going to have one drink and whatever the case may be, but it's just another reminder about being responsible and knowing that, okay, if I enjoyed the evening a little bit too much, leave my car wherever it is, I can go back and get it in the morning, because it's not worth the pain and suffering of, number one, killing people, right? Like, literally 2 people who should still be here today are gone as a result of one irresponsible action. And secondly, even if you don't harm someone, you think about the fact that if you're pulled over for a DUI, the amount of money it takes to defend that case, the amount of fines that you're facing. A DUI can cost you anywhere upwards of $50,000. So is it worth it for one night to just be that irresponsible, or is it just a better course of action to leave the car where it's at, take a ride share, call a friend, whatever the case may be, to save yourself and to save the people around you?
So these are allegations against her, but my goodness, look at the evidence. So that's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about what police were able to see when they checked out these traffic cameras near the corner of 8th and Miami. So it's around 6:49 a.m. Just think about how early this is. 6:49 a.m. You have a dark SUV pulls up to a red light on Miami Avenue and stops. The silver Suzuki and the black Range Rover, they both enter the intersection at the same time, again from opposite directions. And then in some sort of twisted, I don't even want to say perfect, but it's the timing of this that matters. Their Mercedes that's driven by Macy Lathers apparently smashes into both cars. Now, we're not going to show you the moment of the impact, but the momentum sends all three cars spinning. Melba, according to an arrest warrant for Lathers, she didn't even try to slow down. I want to take a listen to this. So it reads, on Friday, August 16, 2024, a search warrant was executed on vehicle number 1. The vehicle's electronic data recorder was collected. A download of the EDR revealed that vehicle number 1 was traveling at approximately 57 miles per hour 5 seconds before the crash, with the accelerator at 100%. Vehicle 1's speed increased to 78 miles per hour at the moment of impact, with vehicle number 2 at the intersection of North Miami Avenue and North 8th Street. This area has a posted speed limit of 30 miles per hour. Now, Melba, how accurate is that data?
Well, actually, as you were reading that, Jesse, I was thinking, because again, I live in Miami, and I was like, yeah, that you have no business even going anywhere over 50, because it's a very congested area. It's kind of a downtown area where people are transitioning to go to work, and a lot of residents in the high rises in the area. So, I mean, even 40, 45 is pushing it. And for her to be going at that rate of speed, it's just insanity, especially since this is someplace where she's familiar, the speed limit, it's perilous. And again, I think it just speaks to the fact that she was just so inebriated that she had no concept of anything.
But that data is airtight. I mean, can a defense attorney say, well, how do we know exactly how fast the car was going? How do we know exactly her foot was on the pedal that much? I mean, is that something a defense attorney can argue against, or is this, no, once you look at that car data, it's pretty airtight?
Well, one thing I always like to say is that everyone is entitled to a defense. Doesn't mean it's going to be a good defense. Doesn't mean it's going to be a winning defense, but you're entitled to a defense. So a defense attorney, of course, can get up and try to attack the veracity of that data. Will it be successful? Highly unlikely, because again, you still can't get away from the footage of her slamming through those two cars, and then in the aftermath, not even staying to render aid or attempting to leave without rendering aid. And that is not going to play very well in front of a jury. So this is a situation where she needs to take a plea and, take her prison time and go about her business.
Just a really, really sad, unfortunate case that shouldn't have happened. And it's one that we have been following from the very beginning. And the reason that we're able to do that is because we get incredible support from our amazing sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. So this is America's largest injury law firm, and honestly, they have an amazing track record. In the past few months, Morgan & Morgan secured a $9.3 million verdict for a car crash victim in Florida, a $5.6 million verdict for another car accident victim in Atlanta, and not to mention $1.8 million in Kentucky after insurance offered them just $5,000 in that case. And even if you think your case isn't worth millions of dollars, why not just start a claim and fight for what you deserve? Morgan & Morgan makes it so simple. You can start a claim from your phone in just 8 clicks, and everything from signing contracts to uploading documents to talking to your team, it can all be done through the phone. So if you're injured, you can easily start a claim at forthepeople.com/LC Sidebar. I don't think there's an alternative explanation for, I had to speed up at that exact moment because of XYZ.
Absolutely not. Yeah, there's no other explanation for what she did. And then, of course, her admissions kind of make everything very clear as well. So, yeah, I don't see that there's a lot here for defense counsel to work with.
So at least one of the cars that the Mercedes hit had started to smoke, and bystanders, other drivers, they started to pull over to see how they could help. Now, look very closely at the top of the screen. It's only been, about 30 seconds since the impact, and the Mercedes has spun around. It's a little bit back from the two cars that it hit, and you can see someone get out of the Mercedes, walk around the front of the car, avoiding contact with an apparent Good Samaritan who stopped to help. Police say that is Macy Lathers, wearing a red jacket with a hood. She has the hood pulled up around her face. She crosses 8th Street in the crosswalk and then paces back and forth at the corner for several seconds. Then she appears to continue walking down Miami Avenue in the direction of the camera, with her face apparently still obscured by the red hood. Another camera facing away from the accident shows Lathers walking into frame and at one point seemingly appearing to kneel or squat down on the ground. At some point, police allege that Lathers tried to blend in with a group of runners who went by, headed back in the direction of the crash. So Melba, Lathers would later be charged with leaving the scene of a deadly accident on top of manslaughter charges. Does it seem to you that she is making a conscious effort to avoid getting caught, or is she just confused and disoriented, not know what's going on? What do you think?
Well, Jesse, if you're confused and disoriented after a crash, you usually stay on the scene. You're either still sitting behind the wheel like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Maybe you get out of the car, but you're going to, maybe drop down right next to the car. Or if you're in a situation where you're kind of like, you have some wits about you, you're going to go try and check on the other people, right? And try to figure out, hey, is everyone okay? Can I call 911? What, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. Versus putting your hood up, because I doubt she was driving with her hood up. So you're putting your hood up, another tactic to try and obscure yourself. You're walking away from the scene. You're deliberately walking around the car and trying to kind of blend in. And then you're walking away. And maybe if she had kept walking, it would have worked better for her. But instead, she turned around and came back. That, again, may have been just a bad choice or the drugs or whatever the case may be. But then she comes back to the scene. It is just clear to me that she is trying to evade responsibility and at the very least, just have the human decency to check on the people that got hit. It's just unfathomable to me.
And that's interesting, right? So on one hand, and we're going to play this in a minute, but the idea of what was in her system, was she in her right mind, was she not, but yet having the sense to avoid detection and walk with the crowd and put the hood up, maybe thinking about cameras, maybe thinking about other people. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's very like, oh, you don't see me, no one sees me. No, we all see.
But you have your wits about you to know that even if you are on some sort of substance, you have your wits about you that, something might not, you might want to try to avoid detection. I mean, if the allegations are true.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, I get out of the situation. That is almost like a self-preservation mindset that she kicked into. And she was like, I got to get out of the situation. I know this is really bad. I don't know how bad. I'm getting out of here. And luckily people were able to stop her. And of course we have the video evidence, with regards to that. But yeah, it's very clear she's trying to evade detection.
Yeah, because within 10 minutes of the crash happening, an ambulance arrives at the scene. And a Miami police officer is seen using police tape to block off the very same section of the sidewalk where Lathers had been minutes before. So according to police, witnesses realized that Lathers had been involved in the crash and they kept her near the scene. Body cam footage from Miami PD shows an officer finding one of his colleagues guarding Lathers, who at this point, by the way, is laying on the ground, hands cuffed behind her back. She appears to moan, seems to roll around in pain. Definitely unsure of what exactly is going on here, but in the body cam, the officers are trying to figure out if Lather has any injuries. And that is when she reveals she took a drug known as 2C, or pink cocaine. So according to an NYU medical school report published in 2023, it's usually a combination of a lot of different drugs: ketamine, ecstasy, cocaine, meth, opioids, other psychoactives. The researchers say its pink color is really just for aesthetics. It's just for looks. Take a look.
Ma'am.
Recovery position.
She's what? Hey,
Relax,
hey,
relax,
chill out,
relax.
chill out.
Relax.
Chill out.
Relax. Let me bring you.
¿Ustedes vieron lo que pasó?
I need rescue here to check on one of the passengers in the vehicle. Miami and 8 on the southeast, one corner, black shirt, blue jeans.
Just stay like how I
Relax.
told
Stay
you,
on your
okay?
left because you're going up.
Stay like that. Look that way.
Ma'am, can you stay over there looking that way?
25 hours.
Put that leg straight.
Yeah. No, that's good. She'll be sideways, brother. Oh, yeah, ma'am.
Relax. Relax.
Approximately 40 years of age. Yes, now over the bridge.
She's good, right? Vamos a levantarla y llevarla ahí.
45 cents to read out to the bridge.
What the rest you say? I think you were involved in the crash.
She probably won't be able to walk.
Does anything hurt you?
4413 can see.
Who had heard the thing?
Yeah,
We have real time monitor. Any real time? Real time monitor.
Did you get other people from the car?
Yeah, more. The other car, I think one is.
My mole.
What? Ma'am, what car are you driving?
Mercedes.
Is it?
My name
That's
is
a car?
Mercedes.
Calm down.
I'm from the future.
Awesome, amazing.
Oh, Crystal Ball. You can live up.
Are you on drugs? What do you want?
Oh, fly.
4514.
They gave her a shot.
I mean, the female that we have detained, we can advise fire rescue. She just told us now she's on Tuesday. So, joke. Oh, she's gonna be one of the vehicles that got into a collision. She's claiming she's on Tuesday.
Is this unrelated?
Yeah, no, it's related. They had her detained. She's with the white Mercedes. They got into an
Have you
accident.
had a neck pain? I had no neck pain.
She walked
why
away
you
from
have it
yeah.
behind your back?
She's trying to leave the scene.
Lift your right arm up?
No, she's coming.
Oh, she's coming. Okay. All right, we'll sit her up. We're gonna assess her. Let's try to make sure she's not like a trauma alert.
Perfect.
Okay, now you're
Ma'am.
Relax.
Relax.
Remember I told you to relax? Get up. Get her up. Get her up. She's facing us. Sit down.
Apparently what he did. We're just gonna do a quick assessment in the back. And go from there.
She the matter with you guys?
She's on Tuesday. So she said right now. She's like, oh, I'm from the future. Okay, hold on, man.
We'll get her there. She's on Tuesday.
Yeah. Let me just, porque supuestamente they crashed and she tried to leave the scene. So.
Alright, then I'm just gonna need an officer to come with us.
Yeah, gotcha. No problem.
Aliens. They're coming.
Yeah.
I'll get her legs.
Go. Aliens are coming.
Once she's in the ambulance, Lathers is still mostly incoherent.
What's going on?
Yeah, KBO is fine.
What's going on?
Mason, do you know where you are?
No. Yeah. I'm in Earth.
Where?
Earth.
You're where?
Earth.
The roof?
Earth.
Earth. Yeah, we are all on Earth. Do you know where you are? What city? Where?
Oh, Miami.
Miami. Do you know what happened? Do you remember what happened?
Yeah, I died. Go to the car. Yeah, it's in the car. To the phone.
Were you taking any drugs?
Yeah. Okay. A flock. Go. Yes. Pink Tusi. Tusi on flock. Go now. Go now. Go. Pink.
I think I'm going to sit down because I'm getting dizzy.
Yeah.
Lathers originally faced 8 counts when she first appeared in Miami's bond court, where it was revealed that not only did she not have a driver's license, but she'd been banned from having one. So Melba, does this further support the theory about a total disregard for the safety of others?
Absolutely. And it also explains as another layer of explanation as to why she was fleeing the scene, because she knew she had no business driving. And so, and there's no, extenuating circumstance. She had to rush to the hospital. She's trying to help someone. There's no justification as to why she was behind the wheel that day. And there's no justification for her being behind the wheel in that inebriated state.
And there's no way to police that. What do I mean? You might ban someone's license, but you can't physically prevent them from getting in the car. I know there's possible legislation, or maybe they have this in some states about there's putting locks on cars, right? That you can't drive it if you don't have a license or your license is suspended. But there's no way to actually police somebody from getting behind the wheel of a car.
There really isn't. I mean, you think about young people who may go joyriding and, don't have a license. There's no way to prevent that, and then of course, people who may have their license suspended because they can't afford to pay tickets or whatever the case may be, but they still have to go to work. And it's not the kind of like here in Florida, we don't really have much of a public transit system. So if you want to get to work in a timely manner, you're going to drive, and then you have the situation of you're driving without a license. But again, this is a whole nother level in terms of you went to an event or a party, got that messed up. And then on top of that, I guess though the joke is if you're going to commit a crime, only try to commit one. Don't try to commit multiple at the same time. So you already know you have no business driving. You're going to drive and be inebriated, and then on top of that, kill people? Yeah.
Yeah, after prosecutors got the results of Lather's toxicology test, they added the manslaughter charges, the DUI manslaughter charges. And officials say Lather's tested positive for MDMA, ecstasy, ketamine. She's now facing 10 charges, all of them felonies, and has entered a not guilty plea. Miami-Dade County records show she's still locked up, still awaits trial. Would it be tough to prove manslaughter?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, because again, manslaughter is a charge that there's no kind of requisite in like premeditation. This is not an intentional thing. Manslaughter is basically a charge that was designed for an accidental death, meaning you did not intend for death to result, but your actions caused it, and your actions were basically negligent. And her actions were very much so. I think it's a very much a slam dunk for the prosecution, which is why I think a plea is probably going to be in the best interest of the defendant.
Let me ask you this. I mean, you mentioned before the possibility of a plea deal. That seems to be what might be in her best interest. Do you know what she's currently facing, and what would a plea deal potentially look like for her when the allegations are she killed 2 people?
And well, DUI manslaughter in Florida carries a maximum of 15 years. Now, granted, there's going to be 2 counts of that because 2 people tragically lost their lives. And the court has the option of running it consecutively. So in terms of her maximum sentence, she may be looking at, maybe 30 years or so. Again, depending on how the court wants to, if they want to run everything consecutively or if they want to run the sentences concurrent. So she could be facing anything from, as a max, 15 to 13. Depending on her criminal history, she may have a floor of, again, maybe 2-3 years, something along those lines. To me, a plea would look like definite prison time, maybe something along the lines of 7 to 10 years followed by probation, likely in that probationary time, she would have to go to a substance abuse, do some substance abuse treatment. And if there's restitution or anything she can pay back to the families, which, listen, there's no amount of money that will ever bring someone back. But in terms of, if there's other damages that she can reimburse the families, then maybe that might be included. But I think the focus is going to be prison time as well as substance abuse treatment.
Just a tragedy. A tragedy should not have happened. Really, really sad case. Melba Pearson, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Jesse. Always great to be on with you.
And that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you should get your podcasts. I'm Jesse Weber. I'll speak to you next time.